Welcome to my session, Decision Without Doubt, Create Your Own Data Warehousing Journey. I'm Torsten Ammon, I'm heading the data warehouse solutions within SAP, either if it is your on-premise portfolio or your cloud portfolio. Before we cover the data warehousing journey, I would like to do a step back. The last month have shown that COVID-19 had a significant impact and disrupted our working practices. Companies needed to react fast to a changing market and make informed decisions based on real-time data. However, with data volumes growing exponentially and the challenge of combining both cloud and on-premise business processes and applications to generate value out of it doesn't make this task easy. SAP believes that best run businesses are intelligent enterprises which apply technologies within agile integrated business processes. With the Intelligent Suite, we provide our customers with the applications to run the most critical business processes, either if it is finance, human resource, customer operations, and supply chain operations, to exactly overcome these challenges and manage every part of the organization efficiently. Our new Industry Cloud will allow customers to discover and deploy vertical solutions from SAP and partners. These help customers apply leading-edge industry best practices and extend current business processes. To ensure that an organization's business applications can talk to each other, can be integrated within the Intelligent Enterprise portfolio, and can be made with easy of use in mind, a common and unified technology platform is essential. Therefore, we introduced SAP's Business Technology Platform last year to enable businesses turning data into business value, from on-premise to the cloud. With this foundation in mind, we divided it into 4 technology categories: database and data management, analytics, application development and integration, and intelligent technologies. In each of these 4 categories, we divided it, for example, for data management and database, data storage, data processing, data integration capabilities to extend your business applications and leverage integration capabilities, extend it, and even further develop on top of it your own custom applications. To give you an example, you can use HANA Cloud to store your data intelligence to integrate it, then building with Data Warehouse Cloud on top semantics, creating your visualization on top with Analytics Cloud, which is embedded into your custom application and which will be leveraged during a business process to take decisions in real time. And all of this helps you to extend your portfolio and your applications as a customer to handle and deal with a fast changing environment. If we go now one level deeper and look into data warehousing, and especially the trends and demands we see there, it's similar to what I outlined for the general SAP portfolio. But nevertheless, if you think of data warehousing, there is a shift towards empowering and enabling more and more people on the business user side. In the past, data warehousing was mainly driven out of an IT practice. As of more and more users need day by day real-time data, need to get access as fast as possible to their data, there is a strong need to enable and empower business users. But on the other hand, our environments get by far more complex. It's not anymore that you have everything in one central storage. You need to deal and handle different possibilities of a decentralized storage, but still want to combine the data. You need to have the possibility to have different paces, deciding on maybe one application needs to move faster because it's more on an innovative track. The other one is more of your core business process. So you might have a reliable, more stable environment on that one. And finally, as of we are in a transition to the cloud, you need to cope with the challenge that some of your systems stay on-premise, some others move to the cloud, and nevertheless, you need for data warehousing all data which you need to bring together and combine. So you need to handle and cope with the challenge of bringing all different data sets together. But to bring these topics into a different facet, I like to look at it from a different angle. And I like the concept of the data value formula. It exactly highlights the four most important components you need to generate value out of your data. It starts with a huge variety and span of data. You have by far more sources than ever which you want to connect and collect to your dataset. The second level is the pure amount of data. It's growing more and more over the last years. And it doesn't stop. And if you think of marketing sources, if you think of sales sources of IoT data, it even gets more challenging to handle all the different data assets. But what is all data from a pure amount perspective without any quality in it? If you don't know how to use it, if you don't know which data is there, which quality it has, what insights you can generate out of it. Is it a product? Is it a customer? Is it a pure number? And that's exactly why quality is an important point. And finally, if nobody can access your data, or if you can't leverage it during your planning cycles and even do then further predictive analysis on top of it, there is as well not the most value gathered out of your data. So if we look at this data value equation, if one of these points, taking the typical example of a data lake, you have a lot of data, but you don't know exactly what you stored, you don't know the quality, you don't know how often it will be stored, which value which data set has. So the quality is low. So amount is high, quality is low, your value will be low. And as well, even if you have a high quality, you don't have that much data, you have high quality data, but nobody can access it. It's still a challenge. Because even then your value will be low, because you don't bring the data to the people who can take their decisions, and you can't enable and empower your users which need during their day-by-day working the data sets. And exactly this is why we used this data value formula as well to attach and highlight our portfolio close to it. If we start from the left-hand side, we have Data Intelligence Cloud and Data Intelligence as our two key pillars for data integration. We have then HANA Cloud and HANA, which had this year a 10-year anniversary, as our storage layer to handle all the huge data amounts which are coming and which are already existing. The next layer is for data warehousing. We have our BW for HANA and SAP HANA for SQL data warehousing in the OnPremise portfolio, and Data Warehouse Cloud is our data warehouse solution in the cloud. And finally, we have Analytics Cloud and Business Objects BI as our portfolio for visualization, planning, and predictive. And as you already can see, we have a close, tight integration to generate most of the values out of it in the end, that they all tie in because they need to closely tie in, that you as a customer generate your benefits and value out of it. Let's have a look specifically on data warehousing. And I want to start first with our OnPremise portfolio and what we do there with data warehousing at SAP. Our first product is BW for HANA, and this is as well our strategic product on the OnPremise track. We deliver this year another feature pack 7, which will be available Q4 2020. And we will have next year a release 3.0 on BW4. The feature pack 7 will have new functionality mainly around hybrid to help you to transition to the cloud, to establish you a way how you can start use case by use case move to the cloud. But in addition to that, it will as well improve several areas. For example, dynamic partitioning, dynamic tiering, several improvements with regards to performance, and as well we have a better optimization of data, our data protection workbench. And finally, we as well improved our streaming capabilities with process chains. When we look at the 3.0 release, we want to make clear and sure that we still innovate as well on the BW4 track. And this is shown, for example, that we implement a new functionality that you have the possibility to distribute your data to data lakes. That we enable you that you can easily have a data lifecycle management if you want to export your data. Secondly, for sure, one of our key pillars is we want to further support you that you can easier transition to the cloud that you can transfer your models and your investments to the cloud. And finally, we have a close integration. If maybe your data warehouse stays on-premise, but you still can leverage, for example, Analytics Cloud as a cloud offering for visualization, or for example, use the HANA Data Lake as one of the possibilities for your dynamic tiering optimization. Our second offering, if you are looking for an agile environment, we have as well SAP HANA for SQL data warehousing. For sure, this gets as well further innovation, as if we still invest in our HANA portfolio, and as well every optimization which gets part of the HANA portfolio is as well part of our SQL data warehousing story. So one of the hugest example, we will now have Business Application Studio as one of the new UIs that you can create models, that you can create calculation views on top of it. And this will further go on as well on the on-premise track. Nevertheless, when I talked about the on-premise portfolio, we still have a new kid on the block, which is Data Warehousing Cloud. And Data Warehouse Cloud tries to address it from a different angle, our data warehousing challenges. It's not a replacement of BW4. It will further extend your data warehousing needs to the cloud. And when I say your data warehousing needs, I see a huge demand towards to enable more and more business users, which have different requirements towards data access. They need more freedom, they need more agility to deal with the data. But on the other side, you invested so many years now into your on-premise data warehousing environment that you want to be sure that all your investments are governed and that you can give your business users trusted data. And this is exactly the balance what we need to achieve. It's not a black or white. It is a gray, like always. If we look at the problem specifically which exists and why I think there is currently a black and white in the market, which means currently it's either you have everything centralized on IT, and then at a certain point, and this point comes quite fast, business users don't feel that they have the possibility and flexibility to use the data. So what do they do to gain it? They start exporting the data, and they lack the support of IT exactly at that point. They export the data mainly due to the reason because they want to combine it with new data sets, for example, local data sets, additions, customer attributions, all different needs which are there to really cope and handle different business requirements to generate insights out of your data. If they have it exported, they combine it in different tools, they again share it with other users, create new visualizations on top, and immediately everything you invested over the last years, all your investments to make that trusted governed layer gets immediately thrown away, and your business users still try to have their own cycle, their own update cycle, and you can't be any more sure how is your data leveraged and used. And this problem is exactly what we want to address with Data Warehouse Cloud. We want to make sure that you have a single point of truth, either if it is federated, virtually accessed data, or if you need to replicate your data into Data Warehouse Cloud. We see there three main use cases around Data Warehouse Cloud. The first one is self-service data modeling and analytics. It should help you to really empower your business user. The second one is there is a challenge. More and more data is coming. You want to establish some governance around. But on the other side, you want to make it possible that all users can work with the data. So there needs to be a governed semantic layer which helps you exactly to achieve this, to have one layer of data access which everybody understands and definitions are clear. And then finally, for sure, there is a need of typical data warehousing, which means from data integration, data management to data visualization as an end-to-end solution, regardless for the persona, but for sure within focus of high automation and as well efficiency around data management. Three of our great customers is, for example, Porsche, who established exactly at that area that they want to enable their business users to better use their data which they have in their data warehouse environment and as well make it possible that more users can access the data and can work with it. Another example is Idorsia. Idorsia replaced their BW embedded environment and really moved to their cloud because they have a cloud-first strategy, leveraged on top of Data Warehouse Cloud the possibility of the tight integration of Analytics Cloud for visualization and as well for planning. And the third example is Velux, where I think most of you already know as well the challenge, and Velux was facing exactly the same. A lot of data is part of their BW environment, in that case a BW4 environment, but there is another set of data which already exists and lives outside the BW environment. And to combine these, it's always a challenge. And that's exactly where Data Warehouse Cloud comes into play, to be that layer where you can either access BW4 data and combine it, in that case, with an Azure data lake and bring that data sets together. If we look at these use cases, what do I mean by self-service data modeling and analytics? For me, it's mainly business user empowerment. And business user empowerment means we need to give the business user the flexibility and possibility to really adjust and work with their data sets as good as they can. To have the possibility to do this, we have a concept which is called spaces. Spaces help you to define your environment which a business user wants to have, either if it is a governed environment, for example, provided by IT, and then business users can extend, adjust, and use their space to load their own third-party data into it. But on the other side, it's as well a possibility to define certain working areas where you have, for example, a finance space and an HR space. So you want to make sure that finance data is governed. So you can share your finance data with an HR space. In this HR space, you have now the possibility to, for example, load your HR data to it. You have, for example, maybe additional external data sets which you want to enrich to your data. And this is the possibility that you can extend your existing data models out of finance and create new insights and new possibilities on top. And then even share it back if you like to, and as well leverage in that environment all the capabilities and power of Data Warehouse Cloud. If we look at enabling data democratization, it's for me the key pillar of every company. There is so much investment that everybody talks about same KPIs, same dimensions, that every understanding is clear in the company how you should and could use your data. We established within Data Warehouse Cloud the so-called business layer. This business layer should exactly help you to create a governed data access within your environment, to help your business users when they work with the data to leverage objects in their terminology, to be sure that if they take a KPI that it's properly defined, that it's approved, that it's governed, and as well to understand, for example, with descriptions, with definitions around how this KPI is defined, which dimensions are available, and which additional dimensions, for example, as time, can I use to it, as product, how this product is defined, which time dimension is the one which is leveraged in that environment, for example, a posting date, a pricing date, what is behind it, and how is it linked. And exactly this is what I think is a key pillar to enable access and business user empowerment, that everybody can work and understand, and as well that data speaks the language of your company and business users can find the right data set. And then finally, in a lot of cases, there is still a strong need of bringing your data together. So it's not only about having business user empowerment, having democratization of your data, you want to as well optimize data loading, data integration, data management on top, data modeling, and finally visualization. And this is exactly what you get as an end-to-end offering out of Data Warehouse Cloud. So you have the possibility to either use SQL experience, as of we leverage everything which HANA Cloud has available within our Data Warehouse Cloud solution. Or we have as well additional graphical view builders on top, a data flow component to load and schedule data, as well with Python capabilities. And then finally, to visualize your data within Analytics Cloud on top and have this then as really one offering to cover your end-to-end data journey within one solution. If we look now into more details around the capabilities, I mentioned already the concept of spaces. So on the one side, it is a possibility to set up governance. On the other hand, it's as well your possibility, for example, to open up your SQL environment to either load new data into it with different ETL tools, or as well use on top of it SQL editors with is your known and best practice used SQL editor. And as well, it helps you to separate storage and compute resources and define how much you need for storage and for compute. Secondly, we have a huge variety of connectivity. We can connect to the SAP environment, either if it is on-premise or cloud, but we have as well the possibility to connect to non-SAP sources. If it will be Amazon Portfolio, Azure Portfolio, Google BigQuery. So there's a lot of possibility to exactly bring your SAP data and your non-SAP data together. We offer this as well in different data centers all over the world, and this will be as well further extended throughout the year. And we have huge variety of data modeling capabilities. We have the possibility to typical data modeling, what you would expect, joining, union, but as well to have the possibility to, if you have a business user has a file on his laptop, to upload it and wrangle the data directly into Data Warehouse Cloud. And in addition to this, if you have good, great IT skilled people, we have as well the possibility to use the SAP Web IDE environment or Business Application Studio as the successor of Web IDE and exactly create your own data models within Data Warehouse Cloud, depending if you're an IT persona or a business persona. On top of it, you can leverage the semantic modeling, which I already highlighted and expressed. And then we have hybrid scenarios. Like I mentioned at the beginning, you see it in BW4, but you see it as well within Data Warehouse Cloud. I strongly believe it is hard to do a big bang from your on-premise environment to your cloud environment. So what we want to do is we want to help you to transition to the cloud. And whenever you see hybrid in our terminology, this is exactly what we want to do there. We want to have the possibility and to make it available for you that you can combine data sets out of the on-premise stack, which you might develop in BW, BW4, combine it with new use cases within Data Warehouse Cloud, but leverage on the other side your already implemented models, your already implemented semantics, and help you to transition to the cloud and taking your investments into consideration. Additionally, for sure, one of our key strengths and pillars is business content. We already have a lot of APIs available, either if it is to S4, on-premise or cloud. We subsequently now develop as well additional integration APIs to our other LOBs. And we have on top of it, we deliver content with regards to cross-product analytics. It's, for example, a CFO dashboard, which is in the end a combination out of S4 Finance plus SuccessFactors combined in Data Warehouse Cloud and delivered as a dashboard on top in Analytics Cloud. And there will be more and more over the next month and years, because for sure we want to make it as easy as possible for you to have a starting point within Data Warehouse Cloud, leverage the assets as part of your customer implementation of data warehousing, and that you can easily extend exactly these assets with your customer needs and generate value out of it. Then one key pillar for sure in addition to it is governance and administration. So we have auditing capabilities, but as well we have already an embedded authorization concept. We have the possibility to either have user authorizations, but as well data access control, that you can decide on which level which user should access its data, to make sure that exactly you have again the balance between governance and freedom for your IT users, but still always under the bracket, under the frame of having your governance still available and accessible, and making sure that business users can only see what they should see and get access to the data which they should get. Then a key pillar, as of we for sure want to establish enterprise readiness within your environment. We want to make sure that you have the possibility to move content in Data Warehouse Cloud, either if it is between Data Warehouse Cloud, but as well to enable from one Data Warehouse Cloud tenant to another one, content deliveries. As well, we have elasticity within our environment, a typical criteria which you expect from a cloud provider. And as well, finally, we have disaster recovery available within Data Warehouse Cloud. So all the criteria you would expect of a proper data warehouse environment. And then finally, but not the last one, we have a tight integration into Analytics Cloud, like I several times already mentioned. So it feels like one solution on top of it, but it's not only about Analytics Cloud. You have as well the capabilities and possibility to access it with any third-party tool via a SQL interface. So you have the possibility to open up your created models and extend it to more use cases on top of your data warehousing solution. Having said this, I would really like to point you to a couple of sessions which are as well available during TechEd. For sure, there is by far more insight and more details around Data Warehouse Cloud, but there is as well, exactly like I mentioned before, we put some light into what we mean by modeling hybrid scenarios with Data Warehouse Cloud and BW for HANA. You see that BW for HANA is still our strategic important pillar, and we extend it with new use cases to the cloud with Data Warehouse Cloud and help you exactly there to transition and leverage your investments. In addition to this, please continue your learning experience from SAP TechEd. Start deepen your experience, learn more, validate your SAP solution skills, and see what else is happening. I can really only encourage you to try it out and activate your free access. Thank you for attending this session. I hope you got an idea. I hope you got a sense of how your data warehousing journey could look like with SAP. And please feel free to reach out for any further topics to me, and we can help you to define your own journey within your company. Thank you.